guys, Cobra here. Now, there's two things I want to be talking to you about today. Number one, I am sorry for this crappy little video thing that I got going on. I'm just using the front-facing camera of an old computer. Now, number two is I'm actually back on holiday now. You know what it's like when you're on holiday. You kind of like go out every night and you get absolutely wrecked to enjoy yourself. And the next morning you feel like, ugh. But anyway, I'm back off holiday now and I'm back recording on a regular basis. Now, the thing we're going to be starting off today is actually Creeper Castle episode 34, I believe. And in this one, the name's a dead giveaway. It's called the Dropper Installation. Now, the Dropper was a really great game within Minecraft that I enjoyed thoroughly, and I thought I'd actually implement something like that into Creeper Castle on the adventure map. This is all based in the Last Palace, as you guys know, who have actually been watching me for a long time. Yes, but in this one, obviously because we haven't got the height in the Xbox edition of Minecraft, I've had to pummel all the way down to bedrock to create this thing. And it's going to be over 3 episodes. Obviously, because the amount of stuff that we're actually digging up, even in creative mode, it takes forever and hours of footage. And obviously, so I kind of like speed it up. Now, for you guys actually watching this, it's probably best to actually stick it on the 720p and then enlarge it to full screen. Obviously, because I put this in fast motion, it kind of like it's a split screen. So you got kind of like it's 2 players on the same console. Well, that's what I do anyway, and I use one player to kind of like video it so that you can actually see the whole thing going fast motion, and the other one's actually just my player doing all the build work. So that's just a little bit of advice to you guys, so you don't get too confused on what's going on. But anyway, guys, yes, a lot of things changed. We kind of like went out and had a party and this and that while I was away. And also, I kind of like, I actually got a new tattoo done, but it goes all the way up the arm. I've got to get the second part finished. But anyway, enough about that. That's nothing to do with Minecraft. And but yeah, it's great to be back, and it's great to see you guys again. And I'll check you later. See you later, guys. Enjoy the episode. Alright guys, Cobra here. Now welcome back to Creeper Castle episode 34. So yes, as you probably heard me talking about to you earlier in my kind of like introduction video, I'm back off holiday and we're back on this. And what you also probably heard is that what we're working on. Now, in this part of the video, I wanted to do a dropper within this adventure map because it was one of my most favourite games within Minecraft to play. And so, naturally, what I started doing here is I picked a decent spot and I decided to pummel it down with TNT. Now, I actually thought this would work. I was trying to put redstone all around it and then switch it back on so that TNT would explode, but apparently not. You still have to kind of like just start off one and let it collide over. And the amount of damage that this caused, you know, I thought I actually had this down to key, and it still made a massive mess. I thought, oh, so let's just carry on with this and just like get this all this work over and done with, and I'll just repair what I need to repair later. So you can just see the sheer amount of TNT I've had to use. It only clears a few layers. There is a quicker way to actually blow through the ground. Now, if you put in like a TNT in a middle block and then count 1 row squares around it, that's approximately what it blows through. So if you actually place them in the correct path, you can actually have yourself a nice decent hole if you get it right. Now, as you can see now, I'm just clearing the space for the actual future kind of like dig pit, which I will be doing in a moment. And it will become more clearly as I clear up the entire scene. Now, as you can see here, what I decided to do was I decided to pick this last little bit of land, and what I'm going to do after that is I'm actually going to create 1 dropper on 1 huge parkour. So it's not going to be easy. So what I've started to do, I've started to dig down all the separate little points in which I need to fill them up with TNT. And as you can see, I'm just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And this is about 20 times standard gameplay speed. So it's quite fast, and it actually took quite a few hours to actually get this all out, because I think it's something like 200 separate holes down to bedrock that I actually had to dig. So after I did all that, I kind of like filled it up with TNT, and as you can see, I'm actually trying to do a nice square shape around about now, and I'm just trying to position my second guy's camera. Now, there's a few things that you have to kind of like be wary of when you're doing this, and the main one is lava. Now, it doesn't matter if you have lava like one block away. As you can see, I've just come across some now. It has to be at least like 2 to 3 blocks away, because for some reason, even that tiny little spit of graphite that seems to go through blocks sets the TNT alight, and you're pretty much done for. And I've had this experience many times, especially when I was building the underground city, the East Town, because obviously before then I had to dig out the entire thing when it wasn't on creative mode, and more than often I would die because I thought I was safe with having lava behind one layer of wall, which wasn't the case, and I just died and I died and I died and I died. It became accustomed to it, and I was quite surprised that I'd done it, well, got it done so quickly in such a large area. And this one in comparison is quite small, but it still takes time. Because obviously this one, I was doing this kind of like this task by myself, and as you can see, I'm just trying to show you guys what it's like by leveling out the rest of the land. As you can see, there you go, you can see me just clearing it all out, getting rid of all that nasty snow, and then cutting away at this rock, so you can see the beginning parts going all around of these kind of like little holes in the ground. Now, this roughly took around about an hour or two just to get that far, because even though we're on creative, you guys know that it takes forever because we don't have Minecraft Edit or stuff like that, you know. It gets kind of irritating. But they may come out with that in a future update. I'm not too sure on the full things of TU12 or the full features. I know they got some good items in there, but they might throw a few more surprises for you guys. You know what they're like. They don't give you the full picture, which is quite annoying sometimes, because you know, it's been a long time since the last update that we had with the Minecraft for Xbox, and another one's due. It's expected now, but especially since the Xbox One's coming, you know there's got to be a few big updates. So now obviously I'm just trying to get rid of more lava that I find. I'm trying to get as much as I can out the way before I start this. And you can just see how many I actually have to dig, and it does take a long time. There you go, just come across another lava pit, and it just takes forever to get rid of these damn things. And how many will you find? You find loads. It's like when you have an open world home and you can just see how many are underneath you. I wish I had that. Now that at least I can actually kind of like predict what's going to happen. But unfortunately, in this episode, it didn't turn out so easy for me. I worked really hard trying to get all this out, and then I put in all the dynamite in. I got like 3/4 of the way through, and then boom, it turned out there was like one block of lava left, which I missed, and it completely demolished half of it. And of course, if you don't do a full good job at it and set them all off at once, it kind of creates like a little bit of mess. So I had a bit of tidying up to do, but it wasn't nothing I could get past. The second point, which I will be doing, the second kind of like build, which will be in another episode, is like we will actually be starting the main build of this dropper and also the parkour, and we'll be figuring out what kind of structure I'll be doing over the top of it, because we need something tall. We need something to actually reach the top of the world, obviously, because this has got to be very high for kind of like a dropper scenario and like the ultimate parkour sensation. Now I'm like practically halfway through this now. We've got like, I don't know, probably about 100 or so done there now. I was actually trying to get some animals kind of like just to fall in, but unfortunately no, no cigar. Now, as you can see what I've done here, and you can see how far away each kind of like square is, which I've dug down. Now, that's roughly what you need to actually successfully have a like a nice decent sized chunk cut out of. Just as I said before, make sure there's nothing there that can set the TNT off accidentally. I should have actually turned off TNT explosions. That way, when I did this, it would have all set off at once, and then I could have just turned it back on, and then easy peasy lemon squeezy. But unfortunately, when I turned it off at the beginning, I did forget to turn it back on again. Now, you're going to need thousands upon thousands of blocks. Surprisingly, it doesn't lag out your game, because I haven't actually tested big TNT explosions like this for quite a while. Not since obviously East Town, because that was like the main dynamite kind of like thing that I did, and it lagged out the game completely. But the game was probably less stable then, and you know it was really hard, especially when you had like a load of people just playing with you. It used to freeze out the Xbox all the time. Now, as I am showing you now, it's kind of like the last few there, and at this point I was thinking, Jesus Christ, my finger's aching. And I was proper just like going, oh, you know what, I need a break, I need a Kit Kat. But no, you know, I pummeled all through this and I carried on. And then I just started dynamiting this, and the funny thing is, you know, it doesn't take as long to actually set the dynamite. I didn't actually want to do it while I was doing this. You know, you might get some people that say, hey, why didn't you just use the dynamite while you're digging holes? It would have been quicker. Nah, not really, because I wanted to get the dynamite done as quick as possible, so I can stay away from lava just in case there was any, and I turned out to be right. And you'll see this in the actual video itself in a minute, because as you can see, I'm just laying them all down really quickly. It doesn't take half the time to do it as it would have done. Obviously just like digging down and then lifting them up, and I would have blatantly just had another explosion anyway, and it was inevitable in the end. So you know what, screw it. It's just one of those things. What I really am trying to do with this, I'm actually trying to do quite a decent sized drop. Obviously, as I explained in the introduction video, we haven't actually got the high-end Minecraft Xbox, so basically it's like it has to be top of the world to right down to below bedrock just to get a decent size, so you can have a little bit of fun with it. And this is going to be one of those fun challenges for you to do. The hard part about it is going to be getting back up, because what I'm doing is I'm dedicating half this space to a dropper kind of like challenge, and then the other half to a massive parkour. It's going to be separated obviously by a wall and stuff, but you're going to get a lot of kind of like gizmos if you go in the right areas. And it's going to be the parkour version on the other side is going to be kind of like you get to choose your own way. Obviously the harder jumps are going to be for, you know, you can get a load of goodies on the way, and the easier jumps are kind of like direct route if you kind of like, obviously if you're not that good at parkour like me, especially on the Xbox. You know, the PC, brilliant at Xbox version, that double tap forward, I never got that, and boom, there you go. As you can see, everything just went about halfway. I was like, shit. I was like, oh crap, and it, you know, it was dead annoying. So then I had to kind of like figure out where I would have placed it to try and clear up the mess. But you can see, you know, even though it cut out halfway, it cut out a decent size, and it cleared it really well. Just unfortunately it didn't go the way I wanted, so it did make it a little bit messy, but surprisingly enough it wasn't too bad. And it didn't lag out, especially with all that water and lava just flooded in there. It just, I didn't actually get many issues with it. So I just thought, hey, you know what, let's just carry on with this TNT and see how that goes. And I did do a few kind of like pylons after of TNT, kind of like clear all these like roadblocks that you get lying around. They're dead annoying, you know, that's like very time consuming. Especially when you're like trying to fix this up, and you want to fix it up because if you're like me, I'm kind of like OCD in all the like perfect square and everything, hence why I had to clear this out, get a flat area so I could show you. And you know, I wanted to get this obviously non-messy, so that it looks neat and proper as you would expect for a nice big chamber like that. I might do a few more underground things. Well, obviously boss fights are underground anyway, but I thought I might do a lot of challenges that might be underground. It won't be too big, but you know, decent good old size. And as you can see, I'm just setting them all off again. I love explosions, they're awesome. It's weird though, if you do too many, it doesn't actually set them off. But as you can see, I've had to set off a few more because a few went a bit rogue there and they didn't even bother exploding. So now, as you can see, what I said to you before, I'm now doing the pylons, just trying to clear out a load of these roadblocks, and I thought, yeah, you know what, just instead of doing one at a time, let's just put like 5 there. Just screw it. Try and get rid of all these buggers. And then what I did after that was try to work on the kind of like the clearing of all these disgusting roadblocks just floating there. I do kind of wish in some ways that you can, unless you're connecting to a block, you know, roadblocks that are standing in the middle just fall to the ground. At least then you can actually have some order. And now, obviously, what I'm just doing here, which was the last stretch of my my build of this, and that was just to kind of like cut out the main section just to kind kind of like clear this up and make it a nice and neat chamber for you guys. What I also had to do was I had to kind of like layer out the bedrock so it's nice and flat, so at least then we can start working on where we can actually put the redstone in all this place, so we got everything working nice and well. Now what I do is, you might notice in my previous builds, is that I always leave one layer free in between levels of buildings, and especially in stuff like this, for dedicated just to redstone, and then I work my way around that, because obviously it's silly to kind of like build your builds, or whatever you're doing, you know, your buildings, your structures like this. When it comes to redstone, you always need kind of like space. Like, always plan ahead with that. So you can just like layer it out layer by layer, and if you need to, it's only like the redstone will always be like one layer beneath your feet, so it's not that hard to rewire, and it's not that hard to get, so I wouldn't worry too much. Just leave one layer, that's all it takes, you know, it's not that hard. And also, there's one thing I will say about this, you know, I didn't do this at the first point, as you probably can see, when I was actually filling this in, you will see in a minute, is that if you come across caves or anything like that, don't worry about filling them in, because, you know what, I used to do it all the time. I don't know why, I just don't like empty space, so I'll actually spend time filling in places when it's really unnecessary, because the thing is, if you're, again, back to the redstone, if you're dealing with all this redstone and you come across caves, there might be a space to go actually put caves in, or extra rooms, or do something like that. But for some reason I actually filled in loads of massive empty spaces that I had here. You know, I only did it like on one of the walls, but then I kind of figure out, yeah, you know what, don't even bother with it. And it, because I got a thing, I keep on feeling like, oh, I've got to keep this lag free, this space might actually have some extra lag. It doesn't cause any lag, it's just me kind of like trying not to jinx the whole thing. And you know what, now that I'm saying it, I'm probably going to get it. But you know what the hell, it's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen, because I've got kind of like, I always keep 2 saves of this baby, you know, guys, how long I've been working on this damn map, and I want to get this kind of like out there. And so yeah, always keep 2 saved copies of your most perfect game on Minecraft in the world, because treasure it, you might lose it, especially with Xbox. It's not like it's PC version, you know what I mean. No, as you can see, I'm just filling it in, getting this all nice and neat, and it's, you know, it's surprising how long this actually took. This took quite a while. The entire thing of what you watched so far was probably about, I don't know, 4 hours work, you know, something like that, and it was, it's not a fast job, and your trigger finger afterwards, you know what, it feels like it's about to break off. So take baby steps at a time. Obviously, I didn't do this all in one go. I did like one day, then I did a few hours the next day, just so I could plan ahead of what I was actually doing. Because a lot of the time, well, what I used to do is I used to throw myself in a deep end. Like, I do get a certain amount done, and I'll be like, okay, I'll tell you what, if I spend another hour doing this, I get this bit done. And I spend another hour doing this, I get this bit done. And you just end up spending hours and hours and hours, just trying to be very obsessive and trying to get things completed, when really don't need to do that. So you do take a little bit of time. Hence why I kind of like, what I used to do is I used to just kind of like get like an episode out once a week or something like that, so at least you can spend your hours like spread out, so you don't get kind of like Minecraft mad, because it is really addictive. I've always found that ever since the first day I played it. Now, you see, I'm just flattening this out, and I've given up completely with trying to fill in those empty blocks. Doesn't need to be, you know, doesn't need to be filled up. Why bother, you know? Now, don't worry with the kind of like the massive parkour that I'm going to be having in this. The reason why is because it's going to have checkpoints, as you would expect within something like this, and it's going to be quite awesome. So at least if you do fall to your death, I would advise that you leave. There is going to be chests upstairs where you'll be able to store your stuff, and it'll go around and go to the other side where you're supposed to have completed it. At least then you can keep your stuff nice and safe and ready for you when you actually complete these tasks. And there'll be checkpoints kind of like as soon as you get to a certain height, regardless of which path you take, you'll be able to flip a switch, and you know, you could redo up to the point where you died, and it wouldn't be too hard for you, because I hate that. You know, I've been on parkours where there's been no checkpoints, and you get like 3/4 of the way and then you died, and you've spent the last half an hour just wasting your time, and it's so irritating. I wonder what the new T12 is gonna bring to us in kind of like ways of
surprises. There's a few things I've always hoped for, and it's like, especially command blocks. We can do that sort of thing. It would be available if you had a trackpad, if you have a touchpad. Oh, you know what I'm on about, the quirky keyboard that you get with your controllers, which would be so awesome. Because imagine what you can actually do to that. We can actually start doing stuff like like the proper adventure maps. That is one thing I was hoping for more than anything. I don't think that was announced because I don't really keep up to track with it. I'll take a brief look, and if there's like no items that I'm absolutely interested in, I'm like, nah, jack it away, can't be bothered. Obviously command blocks is one thing, and then you've got book and quill. I do love that. That's kind of like one of the most sensible tools they brought within this game. It's such a small little thing, small little update that you could actually bring to that game, and it'll be so nice. Because at the moment, especially in this, you have to write out the scripts on massive boards. It was like the old days of Minecraft where you had you stick all these signs everywhere, and it would just like you'd read like a whole building's worth just for one quest, and you'd be like, oh Jesus Christ, where was I? And you couldn't actually remember you do it. Oh great, I've run out of controller battery. But yeah, that would just be a perfect touch. And last but not least on this map, as you can see, I'm just flattening out the bedrock. Now guys, this was just a warm-up. Now we're going to be doing the technical stuff in the next episode, and I hope you like this. This took quite a few hours to do, and we're going to actually focus on all the technical stuff in the next one, the architecture, everything else, and it'll be nice and funky. But this was a hard bit. Got that out of the way and done. Alright guys, anyway, I'll chat to you later, and I can't wait to see you soon. Anyway, see you later, and bye.